Cool. Ready to go? Gabi Ash, aerial skier, thank you very, very much for coming to the studio today. Really appreciate it. But I must say, I'm feeling under pressure a bit because you were telling me you used to study journalism. So I feel like you're going to be analysing all my questions, picking apart or my every move, analyse my phrasing, all that kind of thing. I'm a bit nervous.
No, I did mainly like news writing kind of journalism, so nothing in the podcast kind of realm. So no, you're all good.
But you didn't like journalism, you were telling me.
Well, not that I didn't like it. It was interesting, but I just reckon there's something out there that's probably better suited to me.
And what's that? Have you discovered that yet, or still kind of on the journey to discovering it?
I'm still on the journey, I'd say. But yeah, I'm hoping it's in the area of design. I think that's pretty interesting. So
you're doing design at, where is it you're doing it?
At Melbourne Uni.
At Melbourne Uni, okay.
Yeah.
You at Monash before, were you?
I was at Monash before, yep.
Yeah, right. And you've just started design this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All on campus?
Yeah. Well, some of my lectures are online, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Mix.
how did, when you were at Monash and you were going out skiing everywhere, all over the place, how'd you juggle uni and skiing?
Well, the way our year's kind of structured, the way it has been, it's probably going to be a bit different this year. Semester one, we were mainly like home or like maybe in Brisbane. So I was able to do, actually the pandemic helped, funnily enough, because it was all in line. I could kind of do it from wherever I was. But the past few years I've had to take semester two off just because I've been away and it's not really feasible with some of the online subjects. So
so that lengthens the length of your course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you like double the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bit annoying. But your sister Sophie was sitting in that very chair just 2-3 weeks ago or something, and obviously she was at the Winter Olympics. You were at the Winter Olympics very recently. You're both super successful skiers. So with that kind of thing running in the family, there's got to be it can't be a coincidence, right? There's got to be some physical or mental trait that you share or something in your development that's made you just so good at skiing.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess our parents both gave us plenty of opportunities when we were younger to explore sports, and we both started skiing very early. Both did gymnastics, so both had that acrobatic awareness. And we were just I guess growing up, you have friends who, I don't know, we were the ones who would run around and climb trees and be a bit fearless, where you'd have friends who would you would be scared of heights or you wouldn't go on certain rides or something like that. So I guess just from a young age, we had that kind of fearlessness or go-getter attitudes, I guess.
Was there much falling out of trees?
No, there wasn't. Not that I remember.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Up there like a cat.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. That's good. And she did trampolining at national level, right?
Yeah.
Did you get to that kind of level?
No, not trampolining. I tried trampolining a bit.
Yeah, but just for gymnastics.
Oh, gymnastics? Yeah, kind of. I stopped when I was 10 and then I did diving for the next 7 or so years. But that was probably more my main sport.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll talk about diving a bit later, but you two would have had a fair influence on each other, right? In how your careers developed, even now and when you were kids, just all along the track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Well, I think Sophie's had a major influence on me. I don't know about me so much on her, but I guess she was the older sister. When you're young, you just follow whatever the older sister does. If she climbs a tree, I'll climb a tree. If she goes on a trampoline and tries some sort of crazy skill, I'll give it a try. So she definitely pushed me when I was younger. And then she's always skied and I kind of diverted from skiing and I guess then found my way back to skiing through her because she kind of told me about the aerials program. I tried out for that and then here we are.
Yeah, she definitely seems like a good influence, definitely not a bad egg, anything like that. But is she the type to sit you down and say, oh, listen here, Gabby, here's my advice for you, or not really?
Yeah, no, not really.
Has she given you any little nuggets of advice, anything like that? Or is it just more general influence?
I'd say more general influence. she also gave me a lot of her hand-me-down gear. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very good. It's expensive, hey?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, she did. Initially, she wasn't very happy about it, but...
So did the parents force her to? Or...
Well, I think she just... understood the expense of it in the end.
Okay, so
But I was...
This was when it like got too small for her and...
No, well, I'm actually taller than her, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
she never grew out of it. It was more me just taking her stuff.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Gotcha. But we'll talk about, because you were at Beijing together, just very recently. When did you get back?
2 Saturdays ago,
Yeah.
I think.
Super recently. She got back a bit earlier, but maybe we'll talk about Beijing being there together a bit later. But your parents, because when there are siblings or individuals and siblings who are from super successful sporting backgrounds, very often the parents are kind of watching their every move and like big influence on their career, right? How did they treat your development coming up as a skier and as an athlete in general with diving and everything?
I'd say they had a bigger influence when I was diving because that was all in Melbourne. And I was in school, so I was very reliant on them to take me to diving and help with training or what I need for training. But aerial skiing, not so much because I guess the first year, they had an influence, but it's a lot of it is away from home. So, I feel like my parents haven't really had much of an influence apart from kind of helping fund it and like supporting the process of it. But I guess the training and competition, they haven't really seen me much in the past few years. So
So when you were going away from home, how young were you when you were going on your first international trips?
Well, for aerials, I started when I was 18. So
okay, right.
I was just finished school.
And for diving, it was all Australia based?
Yeah, I only did domestic comps. So.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. But were they big skiers themselves?
Yeah, I think they skied a fair bit quite a few years ago. Not so much now, but yeah.
And did you and Sophie go to like special sports schools or anything like that? Or was it fairly normal?
No, it's fairly normal. I did go to, I don't know if you heard of VCAS.
VCAS, what's
it's
that?
Victorian College of the Arts.
Okay.
For 2 years.
Sophie went there, didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she did, didn't? Yes, she did.
Yeah.
We didn't cross over though.
Okay.
But she went for art and I went for diving. But yeah, it wasn't really necessary to go there.
Yeah. So where did you go to school for the rest of it? Public school, private school?
I went to Wesley.
Wesley, okay. Yeah, is that?
In St Kilda.
St Kilda, yeah, right. So how do they, is that very athletic school, got lots of athletes coming out of there? Or?
Yeah, I'd say so. St Kilda, we had a big rowing and athletics program, and I don't know, there's a lot of people in the arts though as well at St Kilda, theatre and stuff. So yeah, I think they produced some. There was actually 3 people in my year level have gone to the Olympics, which is pretty crazy.
Right.
2 summer and then me who's a winter.
Who are they?
Jemima Montag.
Walker,
yeah. And Nick Lavery, he was rowing.
Right, wow.
Yeah.
So those 2 are new?
New.
Those 2 and you were the 3? Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know.
That kind of environment for private schools often makes or breaks people. With the certain pressures and it was co-ed school, wasn't it, Wesley? Yeah. But how did you find that experience of going there? Was it good?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Why so?
Well, it was good fun. We had a good year level. I think a lot of us got along. Good campus. I liked my teachers. Yeah, I think I had a good experience. I'm sure not everyone would say the same, but yeah.
Yeah, so would you recommend the future generations of Ash going to that kind of school? Do you reckon it's worth the expense?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's good. Yeah. But Sophie, when she was here sitting in that seat, she talked a lot about acknowledging the privilege she's got financially of going and being aware of it, going to like all across the globe for skiing and stuff. Is that something that is talked about much between you and that you think about as well?
Yeah, well, it's definitely like you do have to have money to be able to do our sports and financially be able to afford living overseas and spending time overseas. Definitely more so for Sophie. Her growing up in skiing and doing mogul, she was like funding everything, like the whole camps, the coaches, everything. But in the aerials program, it's kind of nice because they do fund a lot of it for us, since it's like, I guess they take gymnasts and divers, trampolinists, and then they just make them learn to ski. And so it's a bit more of a, I don't know, talent transfer, I guess. So yeah, a lot more of it is paid for. So I just had to pay for flights and I guess like my food when I'm away, but or else everything else is covered.
So it's easier to transition summer sport athletes into aerials rather than moguls, is what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, yeah, and that's why moguls doesn't get much funding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your fund? Like, do you have sponsors and stuff that help you out with gear and all that?
Yeah, well, the Olympic Winter Institute of Sport, like I'm an athlete under them, so they have like Carbon and XTM, who are their official sponsors, and they give us all our uniform gear. And then, I guess I don't have any personal sponsors, but I guess through other people I've gotten like, I know, discounted ski boots or skis and yeah.
So with aerial skiing, you're talking about how it gets more fun in the mogul skiing, right? Mm-hmm. But maybe if it got ramped up even more, then obviously that probably goes hand in hand with more and more success. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's super hard for Australians to be successful in skiing because of obvious reasons, right? Yep. But Australians are very demanding of wanting gold medals and medals of any kind. Mm-hmm. It's hard to come by in winter sports. So do you reckon aerials needs or deserves more funding so we can get to that kind of level, or are you happy where it's at?
I think where it's at, like, we get more funding than most of the other winter sports. So, I think we're pretty lucky to have the funding that we have. I think that, that's what it's in the past has produced medals. And now we've got that facility in Brisbane that, it's going to be awesome. Yeah,
it's the water ramp, right? Can you tell me about that?
So I don't know if you know anything about water ramping, but
Sophie told me a bit about it, but some people listening might not have heard that episode, so fill us in.
Yeah, okay. Well, so for water ramping, it's pretty much just exactly like the snow. You have the ramp, which is the same kind of curve, same kind of jump as on snow, and then you just go off that and then you land into water, and there's like plastic brittles on the ramp, so it kind of emulates snow. And we do that all summer, or, well, I guess in Brisbane it'll be during winter, but it doesn't get that cold there, so yeah. But yeah, you just pretty much do the exact same thing into water that you would do on snow, and it just removes some of that fear, or if you're like practicing a new skill, you don't have the variables like in winter we have like the wind and the snow, and of course you want to land or else it hurts, so... it kind of removes all those variables and makes things a bit easier. But yeah, so in the past, I've spent the summers in Switzerland because they have a water ramp there, and we kind of train with the Swiss team. But they have like other ones in Park City in Utah in America, and Belarus around the world. So we just got that, when was it, in middle of 2020? It got built, and so I spent a few months in 2020 when we couldn't travel anywhere training on that, and it was pretty sweet. So
you got exemption to head up to Queensland and do that because it's your job, or?
Oh yeah, that was a long travel up there though, because in 2020 we escaped the border closure of Victoria and New South Wales. We rushed for the border of New South Wales when they were closing, and then we got stuck in New South Wales for like 2 months, and so we're all trying to head up to Queensland at this point, Sophie included, and
So just rewinding a sec there.
sorry.
When you're in New South Wales,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You staying at motels, Airbnbs, or do they set you up with good
Yeah,
places?
no, we got to ski in Perisher at that point.
Okay,
So
right.
like initially that wasn't the plan because we wanted to get up to Brisbane, but then of course at that time every state was like closing its borders, so it was like very
Craziness.
difficult. Like they weren't letting us into Queensland no matter how many exemptions we tried to
Yeah.
submit. So yeah, we ended up spending around 2 months in Jindabyne and like skiing in Perisher, which was pretty sweet because we don't usually get to spend much time like actually just properly skiing. So
Yeah.
that was nice. But then, yeah, we kept trying to get to Queensland, but we couldn't. And then they finally said that if you weren't in like a red zone in New South Wales, you could go to Darwin. And then people from Darwin were allowed to go to Queensland. So we hadn't been in like a red zone. And so we flew up to Darwin, spent 2 weeks like holiday there. And we went first, and I think Sophie and the Moguls crew came about a week after us and did the same thing. And then from Darwin we went to Queensland, and then we just stayed there for the rest of the year.
Oh, right. So how many months is that you stayed in Queensland, or weeks?
I think I left in December. So like all up, I think we left around end of May, start of June.
Yeah, right.
And yeah.
Yeah, fair while.
Yeah.
But do you like being around cold? This is probably a question you get asked a fair bit. But do you like being around cold weather? Because Darwin's not very cold.
No, Darwin was so hot.
Yeah.
See, I prefer summer than winter, but I'd say more like Melbourne summer versus Melbourne winter. Like I love skiing and stuff, but I'm not the hugest fan of the cold.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like a lot of winter athletes would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you like your sport, but
You're
being cold
not in it.
isn't as
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, exactly. For sure. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the pocket profile as well. The snow, a bit annoying, being cold all the time, isn't it? Encourage people to check that out on the Patreon, the pocket profile. But when Sophie was here again, she was talking about her animation and how that's a massive thing for her, like equal with sport for focus almost, and very, very, very dedicated to that. Do you have something that you're passionate about and that you really love doing outside sport that kind of allows you to, it's a bit of a distraction?
I don't have the same thing Sophie has with animation. No. I don't know, I'm kind of been searching for that hobby or passion to, I guess coincide with aerials. But so far I've just found like the balance of uni and aerials to be, I guess, enough, keep me occupied. I don't know, I like photography. If I have times to go out and do that when I'm away, that's a good hobby to kind of, just get out and about.
Yeah. How into it have you got? Have you got like the proper cameras and everything like that, or is it just on your phone?
I don't have fancy cameras. I have a film camera, and I've been trying to learn with like manual kind of film cameras. So yeah, just that. It's a bit different, bit fun. Yeah.
Do you reckon you could get even more into that photography side of things, fancy cameras and all that, or in the future?
Yeah, possibly in the future. Yeah, I reckon that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool for sure. But her animation stuff, do you check that out much? Are you a fan of her work?
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty cool, hey?
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks it's so cool, and how she got nominated for a few of the film festivals.
International
it's awesome.
stuff, yeah. It's incredible, hey? And you get like first access to that kind of thing, don't you? Like, does she show you all the drafts and things like that, or...?
Yeah, well, sometimes if I pop into study, she'll just be working on a computer all day. Like, it's a lot of work to produce what she does, and it's very cool.
Yeah, very cool indeed. But I promised we were going to talk about diving a bit before, and I want to talk about it now. Why did you move to diving, and why was that the key focus for a period there?
I was doing gym, and I was starting to get a bit more serious about it, and they were like saying that I pretty much had to miss school. And this was when I was around 10, so I don't know, at that time my mum was like, yeah, no, you're not going to miss school like for gym. So I tried a school holidays like diving class. It was a few days of it. And they were like, we think you have potential, let's give it a try. And so I pretty much just started diving and then worked my way through it.
And gymnastics and diving, they really go hand in hand, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got the aerial awareness and like, I guess the somersaulting, you just have to. It's interesting though, because a few of my teammates in gym, like they also moved to diving when they found out I did. But some people just can't get over landing on your head because you don't do that in gym, obviously. Like something's gone wrong if you land on your head in gym. But yeah, otherwise pretty similar.
Yeah. Did you enjoy diving?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, just domestic level. But do you reckon you could have taken that even further potentially? If you kept going?
Yeah, that was the aim. It was always the aim to get to like the Com Games and the Olympics.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
So and you stopped that at 18 or so?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. And why did you stop it?
I guess I just lost my love for it. Really, like I think it was kind of a few years coming. There'd been a few like coaching changes in like the area I was in, and yeah, I guess I just fell out of love with it, and just I don't know, I didn't really want to spend my time doing it anymore. So yeah.
So there's coaching changes. Different coaches suit different people.
Yeah.
Why did these particular new coaches not really suit your style? What was it that they were perhaps doing wrong for you?
Well, I was at that point, I think, I'm trying to remember what year it was. There was me and another girl who were actually trying to see if we could like qualify as a synchro pair for, I think it was like Rio, but I think that was a pretty big stretch for us to get there. Yeah. But they kind of said that to us, you got the potential, like, let's try and up your DD like pretty quickly. And so I was like, I don't know, trying like 3.5s and different twisting things. And there was one day where I kind of, I was trying to do a simple dive, but I ended up getting like pretty lost in the air, and I ended up doing like a quad to my face off like the 7 meter. Wow. And it wasn't that nice. But after that, I think I had a few days off, and then I came back and I was just like petrified to do anything, like just jump or do like the simplest dive.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that was kind of when like some new coaches came in, and then I don't know, like I kind of needed to see a sports psych at that time.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I just don't think I ever really fully got back to like that. You know, I'm just going to chuck it. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, so that one dive really changed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just like I got the ick. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just kind of scared after that.
Yeah. Well, Simone Biles had a kind of similar thing at Tokyo, didn't she? What was that called? There's a name for that. Hold on. Let me look it up.
I can't remember I can't remember.
I'm looking up Simone Biles gymnastics Tokyo 2020. There's a name for it. It's killing me. Might put some little elevator music or something for the listeners here. The twisties.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Biles revealed that she was experiencing twisties. Okay. So there's a similar thing in diving, you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like
that happen for lots of people?
Like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, well, even like people high level like her can get it. Yeah, and even I remember hearing about there was a ex-aerial skier, Jackie Cooper, who was like very successful. And I remember hearing that she kind of got that where she just started getting lost in the air and she didn't really know why. And it was, I think she described it as like, if you have a radio and, you know, when you're like not on the radio station and you're scanning and it's kind of like the buzzing noise. Yeah. Yeah, she kind of described it like that.
Right. Interesting.
So it's just like you're not quite, I don't know, quite there and you just don't know what's going on. But
have you had that in aerial skiing yet?
No.
Okay.
I haven't.
That's good.
Hopefully we'll never get that.
Hopefully never, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully never. But how did you get started in aerials? Because you mentioned before Sophie recommended something to you or something like that?
Yeah, so after I stopped diving, I think this was at the start of year 12, I stopped diving. And then halfway through year 12, I was like, I need another sport. Like, I need something to do. And around that time, they were doing area recruitment. So they literally just have a few days of like, you come in, you do an interview, and then you do like basic gymnastic stuff, and they kind of just see if you have potential, I guess. And Sophie told me that was happening because she, like, obviously knew some of the people who are in the aerials program already from just, I know, training with them. And yeah, so I just tried it out, and yeah, I guess I was initially just thinking, oh, I'll just like ski like a bit, like I don't know, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into because like I feel like nobody really knows what aerial skiing is. And yeah, they accepted me, and then
yeah, incredible.
Right.
With you and your sister, you both, like, if you were, someone was talking to you, they wouldn't automatically think that you're an athlete. There are some people you can just tell they're an athlete straight away, but you wouldn't think it straight away with you two. But clearly you've got a big passion for sport, and you were saying there was a gaping hole when you weren't doing any sport between diving and aerials, right? So what is it about sport for you that kind of creates that big hole when you don't have it?
That's a great question. I think it's just that, I guess, the feeling of being fit for one, just, you know, you feel healthy, you feel good when you're doing sport or exercise. And then probably more so the, I don't know, just a sense of achievement. I don't know, you're kind of pushing the boundaries a bit. Like, if I was to stop aerials and, let's say, take up, like, soccer or something, though, I don't know if I'd quite have that sense of achievement just because I suck at ball sports. But, like, yeah, with aerials, you just get that such adrenaline. I don't know, it's just, it's not really like anything else that I've tried.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not like much else that, like, people watch. It's just, yeah, it's a unique thing, isn't it? Do you watch much sport?
Not really, no.
No? Did you watch ski comps that you're not in and stuff like that on TV or
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah? But not into your footy or your soccer or anything like that?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I feel so un-Melbourne, like, to say I'm not really into footy, but
Definitely.
I have seen a game in person.
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah.
Do you remember who you saw?
Nope. No. I think Richmond and someone else. I can't remember. It was quite a few years ago, though. But, yeah.
So, going back to aerials, when you're starting in aerials, what's it like? Is it scary?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the way you progress, though, like, it's pretty slow, and they make sure that you've got the basics before you actually progress to the next thing. So it's not as scary as you'd think. But, yeah, as you start off, like, I remember starting off we had this place in Lilydale that was water ramps as well before the Brisbane ramps were built.
Oh, cool.
And that was into a pond, like a swamp kind of thing. Yeah. It was, like, disgusting. But, yeah, we started off like a mini jump, and you just do, like, straight jumps or add a bit of spread or something, and you did heaps of those, and then you, like, finally just progressed to chucking a front side or something or a back side. And, yeah.
So when you're starting off and kind of working on those fundamentals and basics, what are you doing off skis? Are you doing gym work and flexibility stuff, anything like that? Or
Gym work, yeah. Just like strength, power kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not so much flexibility. Flexibility is more like, I guess stretching is more injury prevention, but you don't really do that much of that. What else? I love trampoline. Yeah, I'd say that. Trampoline, bungee, strength. Yeah.
Do you remember your first proper jump?
Like a flip?
Yeah.
On snow or on water?
Oh, on snow?
On snow. Well, yeah. Funnily enough, we were at Bulla, and my coach, I don't know if you've been to Bulla, but there's a run called Chamois, and they usually have a mogul course set up there. And they used to have an Aerials World Cup there, like, back 2000s or like ages ago.
Wow.
But they had these, like, tiny little mogul jumps. And we were just, me and this other girl were just, I don't know, having some fun doing, like, straight airs off it, adding, like, twisters and, I don't know, just having fun. And then my coach was like, oh, why don't you chuck a backflip? And I was like, okay. And she's like, okay, just, like, step up a bit, you know, you get more speed, and then, like, you'll be good to go. And I think I stepped up a bit, and I was kind of coming in with my arms up, and I was like, I'm way too slow. and I tried to like huck myself on the jump, and I ended up getting my skis like implanted in the snow and then like sliding down in a penguin.
Oh,
So that was like my first flip on snow. So yeah, that was fun.
yeah, but no big injuries from it, anything like
Oh no, it was
So
fine.
it's
Like
fine.
it was
Yeah,
tiny,
okay.
so I literally
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
kind of just slid down, and I was like, oh, I need more speed. And then the next one was fine.
So nowadays, how high up are you going on jumps?
Over 10 meters, I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you get scared now at all?
Like, yeah, I still get scared. Not so much for the trick. It's more like the conditions that would make it scary. Like the wind affects us a lot. So if there's like a headwind, which it will slow you down. I know you can like land at the top of the hill and kind of that hurts a bit. Or if there's a tailwind, it makes you go a lot faster. And obviously, if you're faster, you're bigger, you're flipping faster, and then you have the potential to crash a lot harder. So
Yeah, 'cause watching the Winter Olympics, something that I didn't even think about, didn't expect, watching the aerials, I guess it's the coach telling the skier when to go because waiting for a certain gust of wind or something
Yeah.
like that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see them like shuffle up or down depending on what the coaches say. Like, yeah, if I say there's a tailwind, they'll say like step down because you'll go too fast, or headwind, step up.
Yeah.
Speed. Yeah.
Maybe it's a different event, but are there multiple like the ramps that you can go off in aerials?
Yeah.
So why are you choosing one or the other?
Just kind of depends on your experience and your degree of difficulty. Like the people, so in like high level comps, there's a double and a triple, and on the double you do 2 flips, and on the triple you do 3 flips.
Okay.
And obviously on the triple there's a higher degree of difficulty than on the double. So you want to be on the triple, but like, well, for how long I've been in the sport and my experience, I'm still only on the double because it's easier than the triple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Now, since you would have done a fair few flips and tricks by now, what's the coolest one that you've done? Most fun?
On snow?
Yeah, on snow. Or it can just be one you're practicing on the water ramp, even actually. Anything.
Yeah, okay. Well, on the water ramp, I've tried like a triple twisting double. So that's, I don't know, either a 2 twists in the first flip and then 1 twist in the second, or 1 twist in the first and then 2 twists in the second. Like I said, that would be the coolest. I've only done 1 twist in the first and 1 twist in the second on snow. So that's pretty simple in like, you know.
Yeah, in aerials too.
In aerials.
But yeah, you're new to the sport, so
Yeah.
you've got plenty of time to
Yeah.
improve that and onwards and upwards, really. But
Yeah.
when you're in the air and twisting and flipping and all that, is there anything going through your mind, or is it more just kind of muscle memory type thing?
It's a lot of muscle memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, each jump is kind of different in the speed because, yeah, like the wind or whatever. So I think as soon as you kind of take off the jump, you can tell if you need to like stretch, like if you're big, or pull if you're small. So yeah, you're kind of always reacting, but it is a lot of muscle memory. And you can kind of see the ground coming at you, so you're kind of able to adjust from there. And then you also have your coach yelling at you to like do stuff. So there's a bit of stuff going on.
Yeah. Do you what kind of coach do you prefer? Do you prefer the yelly type or the more kind of calm, composed one that maybe pumps you up a bit less but is less angry?
I prefer the calmer one.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've had both. And like I appreciate the pumping up kind of coach. And like I try and like, I don't know, pump myself up through that. But yeah, it just doesn't work for me. I think I get too like amped up, and then I don't perform as well when I get super amped up. I need to be calm.
So what were you trying personally when you were trying to pump yourself up and get amped up before? Like before you kind of realised that it's not really your thing? Were you listening to loud music or?
Not so much music. It's more, well, yeah, the coach is just a bit more energetic, I guess. So it kind of gives you a lot of things to like do or try. And I know, I guess.
Things as in like lots of different, what do you mean by lots of things?
Like I guess different things to like fix in the jump or do in the jump.
Okay,
like let's say like on takeoff to twist, you need to like drop an arm. So it might be like drop your right arm more aggressively in this one, and then after you do that, make sure you're squeezing your butt, or I don't know, like just things like that. And I think when I have a lot of those kind of cues, I kind of get a bit stimulated and overstimulated, and then that kind of makes me do worse than I would if I just am like, okay, just go do something nice and I don't know, be aggressive. But yeah, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean. But and when you're at the top of the slope, what's going through your mind then? And how long are you at the top for, waiting to go down?
Well, it kind of depends. In comp, as soon as they say like the judges are ready, they'll start a clock, and then you have 20 seconds to go.
Yeah.
So like, it's not usually that long.
Between getting up there and then the judge is saying they're ready, how long is there? It's like a few minutes or a few seconds?
It kind of depends. I would say, 30 seconds to a minute maybe.
Okay. And what are you thinking for that 30 seconds to a minute?
Well, I'm usually trying not to think about anything too much.
Yeah.
I usually have like 3 or so keywords that I'm just like need to keep saying to myself, and then I also always tell myself that I can do it. I know that sounds so cheesy.
No, yeah, it's good.
But yeah.
What are those keywords? Are they always different? Or?
No, they're usually always the same. It's just saying, I usually just say to stay tight and to be confident and to stay calm. I know that kind of contradicts itself, but...
Well, it works for you. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
It works. Got to the Olympics, clearly performing quite well.
Yeah.
Only been in it for 5 years, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. But during that 5 years, I had a look at some of your stats. 2021 at the World Cup in Deer Valley, finished 7th. Mm-hmm. That's quite good. Seems like quite a good achievement. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was my first top 10 place. So, yeah.
How did you feel about that in the moment?
Yeah, really good. That was my first kind of World Cup, like proper World Cup. So, yeah, it's pretty happy.
Yeah. Why were you so good on that one? What was it about your state of mind or just your form then that got you that first top 10 finish?
Well, I guess like for me, because I am like fairly new to the sport, people don't really see me as a threat, which is fair enough. So I kind of just, I don't know, have to go out and do my thing and kind of have fun with it. So I guess like that took off a bit of pressure, and it was kind of just a bit more fun. And I don't know, I was like calm, having fun. And yeah, I think that's kind of what works for me.
Yeah, it's good. Sophie was saying a similar thing, just kind of clearing her mind of all the thoughts that can distract her and everything like that. But that World Cup, Laura Peel, you were talking about before, maybe it was in the pocket profile, your idol, incredible in the sport. She's won 2 World Cups, 2 World Champs. She won that World Cup. What's she like as a person?
Yeah, she's awesome. She's very humble. It's interesting because I don't know if you think about aerials, and like obviously it's a pretty crazy sport, and you kind of people are like, you must be pretty insane to actually try that. So maybe you think there's like big personalities out there and I don't know, egos, and there are definitely. But if you talk to her, she's very like softly spoken, very quiet. Like she doesn't necessarily like demand attention when she walks in the room, but she's very humble. But she's just that kind of, I don't know, force we reckon with kind of underneath.
Do you think there's something about that softly spoken, quiet, maybe introverted nature that ties in well with doing big flips and aerial skiing and all that kind of thing? Because lots of people in that aerial skiing world seem to have that characteristic about them compared to other sports, especially. Yeah. Well, you see a bit of a mixed bag, but definitely like
I think that that kind of personality, I don't know, helps you with aerials because, like, you do need to be calm. Like, you can't be too reactive in aerials or else you'll, I don't know, probably won't do as well. So, yeah, I think I haven't lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
About whether the kind of quiet, softly spoken nature ties in well with aerials and, freestyle skiing.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it does. Because, she kind of alludes a calm kind of nature. You can see that she doesn't get too stressed out, like in competitions, for example, where, like, I don't know, let's say the weather's bad, like she'll still just be performing just as well if the weather was good. And then you'll see other people out there who maybe might have a bit more kind of reactive kind of personalities who are like freaking out a bit because the weather's bad and kind of maybe a bit more worried about it. I guess that's what I've kind of noticed.
So for you, because you seem very cool, calm, collected, composed, on the outside at least.
Thanks.
Do you reckon bad weather, obviously it's bad, but do you reckon that helps you because everyone else gets worse because of it, but you're staying at the same level?
Well, that's what my coach always says. Like, he's like, you've got this because, like, you're not really fazed by that. But
everyone else freaks out.
Other people freak out. Like, you see some, like, people really freak out when the weather gets bad. Like, just, I don't know, do weird takeoffs and weird jumps. But, yeah.
You might have lost your train of thought just a second ago because I was looking up just in the background here, the name of the winner of the aerials at Beijing is Zhu Mengtao. That's it, from China.
Yeah.
She definitely doesn't seem the softly spoken, quiet type. She was freaking out in her celebration on the TV. That was crazy, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, she's... I haven't been around her much because... but she's been in the sport for quite a long time. But, the last World Cup season, China wasn't there because they were also in China. But this season they were all there, and this is kind of the first time I've experienced the way she goes about it. But you hear her like shouting from the top of the hill, like, and then at the bottom it's kind of cool to watch though, because whatever happens, like if she doesn't land her jump or if like her jump's not that nice in the air, she always celebrates at the bottom, like she screams.
Yeah. And she was doing that for a good 5 minutes or so after she won the gold medal.
Yeah. Oh, she was ecstatic. Yeah.
And you were there watching on, I'm guessing. Yeah. Because was it Daniel Scott and Laura Pill were both in the final, weren't they?
Yeah. So
in Beijing yourself, how did you go?
Like I think I could have done a bit better, but I don't know. I
nearly made the final, right? It was pretty close.
I was about a point or so off.
Yeah.
I could have done my first jump better. I was happy with my second jump. But it was good fun. Like, I'm happy I landed both my jumps. I was having a bit of trouble with the hill was pretty steep, so it was kind of like you need to kind of think that you're about to land your stomach to kind of land on that hill. So it just took a bit to get adjusted to. But I was happy with how I went.
What were you aiming for going into it?
Like, I was aiming to make the final.
Yeah.
My DD wasn't high enough to really progress into like the super final.
What's DD? Sorry?
The degree of difficulty.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's all right.
Yep. The final would have been cool. But
yeah. Well, yeah, nearly. And you've got plenty of Olympics ahead of you, hopefully. How long do aerial skiers usually go on for? Like when do they usually retire?
I feel like a lot of them peak around their 30s.
Oh,
like a lot of the top, like Danny and Laura are both 30, 31.
Yeah.
And Tao Tao, the girl who got the gold medal, I think she's in her 30s as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people, really rise around that age.
So after you did your jumps, how were you feeling? Because so close to the final, right? But still, it was pretty, from just outside perspective, it looked like did some pretty cool flips there.
As I said, I was feeling pretty happy to have landed both my jumps and to do clean jumps. Obviously being so close, it was a bit disappointing. And then I guess kind of yeah, you have that just overwhelming feeling of, oh my God, I just competed the Olympics. Like, yeah, so that was a bit emotional, but yeah, it was good.
Pinching yourself all the way through?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because it obviously felt like a bigger event, but all of our like competitions that season and last season, we haven't had any crowds because of COVID or anything. And that was kind of the same with the games. Like there weren't really big crowds, as I'm sure there usually is. So it kind of just felt like it was like me just doing my own thing and, you know, going out there and doing what I need to do. So yeah.
So were you saying 1 point off the final, something like that?
Yep.
How do you reckon you could have made up that 1 point if you had your time again?
Well, on my first jump, which was my high degree of difficulty jump,
and I should just say for listeners, you have to pre-select your jumps, right? So the judges know what jumps you're doing going in. You don't just randomly choose it in the moment.
Yeah, no. Yeah. You have a you say what jump you want to do, but then up to like 30 seconds before you go, you can change it if you want to.
Okay.
So like if I was like at the back of the field and I saw everyone was like playing it safe, I could change my jump and play it safe or...
Right. But you just have to let them know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway,
yeah.
Sorry, back on the question. What do you reckon you could have done differently, or what could you do differently if you had your time again to just get that 1 point, get that a little bit closer?
Yeah, well, on my first jump, which was my high degree of difficulty, like I'm happy with how it was in the air and the takeoff and everything, but on the landing, I kind of, my left arm kind of went down a bit, like close to my boots, and I think... Like I watched the replay. It looks like I kind of touched the snow with my hand. I didn't touch the snow with my hand, but I think the judges thought that. And that cost me a few points. So if I just kept my arm up a little bit, I would have got the few points.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You didn't touch the snow with your hand, but the judges thought you did, and that's cost you a spot in the final.
Yeah.
Feels a bit unfair, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you get over that? Because just that feeling of injustice must be so hard to kind of put away.
Yeah, like at the start I was I wasn't mad about it, I was just kind of a bit disappointed about it, and like watching the replay, like I could see why they would have on first glance thought that I touched the snow, so I was like I just need to learn to not do that in the future, like, because that was a bit of my habit, like I don't know if you saw some of the other really good landings, but like they like push their hands forward and it looks like so effortless.
Yeah.
And I think I just need to really try and practice that effortless landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you can practice that off skis, or do you have to be doing the jumps to practice that?
Like I reckon on skis it's probably, the most transferable, just doing it.
But there's not a particular exercise you can do off skis.
Like every morning we kind of warm up and we do like landing drills, so we like practice kind of jumping off a box and landing, or like, I don't know, having a ball thrown at us. So you're kind of like, I know your attention is kind of on the ball, but you're still landing well. So you kind of do all that kind of stuff and proprioception and so I guess that all helps as well. Yeah.
So trying to get over that feeling of being hard done by, which like we were talking about, it would have been just so hard, just so unlucky for the judges to see it in a way that you're saying just wasn't true.
Yeah.
Did you get support from your teammates or your sister or your family and stuff like that to help you get over it?
Yeah, like everyone was really nice. They were all they all said that I did really well and did really nice jumps, and I don't know, nobody really like, I don't know, I think I got over it pretty quickly, so it wasn't really like I needed much support necessarily for that, but I don't know, there's just the support of people saying they watched and they were very proud and impressed and stuff, that kind of just helped, I guess.
Yeah. Laura and Danny, they got into the final, right? And lots of people considered Laura a chance for gold or a medal, and maybe Danny as well. But overall, not many Aussie Winter Olympians are kind of expected to contend for medals, and they're probably not putting too much pressure on themselves and realistically aiming to get medals, right? Because obviously the nature of Australia, it's hard to be really good at a winter sport, right? So in the village, is it still an ultra competitive, high pressure environment, or do you reckon it's a bit more chilled out because there's less pressure to getting heaps of medals for everyone?
Like, I think it's pretty chill, but not necessarily because people don't expect medals. I just think that, like, I don't know, I guess what I experienced, like, in the Australian house, everyone was just really supportive of each other. So, like, we had, like, a TV going on, and, like, I don't know, if your event wasn't coming up and you were just down there, like, watching, you'd be super supportive of, like, another person trying to get a medal. Or yeah, there was never any sense of, like, people being really stressed out because they needed a medal or highly strung or anything. Like, obviously, I think from the Australians who went to the games, like, there was quite a few medal contenders. But, yeah, I don't think that it was highly strung at all, really, because of that.
Were you there when Aussies won medals? Were you in the village? What was the experience of that like? Because obviously it seems like such a tight-knit community, the winter athletes. What was that experience of celebrating a medal for someone else, another Aussie like?
Yeah, it was awesome. As I said, that we had, like, this little lounge and a TV, so if you didn't actually go out to the event, like, there was probably, like, a lot of us, like, kind of crammed into this little room, watching this TV, and everyone was just, like, so happy for the person who had won a medal or just competed and done well. I was at the moguls when Jakara won her gold, and that was pretty awesome watching her do a run. Like, she was so consistent the whole night, and then, yeah, to get the gold, it was pretty awesome.
Amazing. And could you go to any event you liked, or what was the deal COVID-wise with that?
Yeah, we were pretty much able to go to any event, but I only went to moguls because we just arrived and, well, obviously to watch Sophie, and we didn't really have much training, but it was kind of hard to go to events because they were pretty long and it was freezing in Beijing. So you kind of wanted, I guess, conserve your energy for training or comp. But yeah, after the comp, I went and saw, like, the cross country and stuff, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, just being at the Olympics, just stuff going on everywhere. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? But you mentioned Sophie there, being at the games with her. That's just got to be so surreal, hey?
Yeah.
Skiing together all your life, and now you're there in Beijing together, both making your debut. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, it was very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hang out much together, and kind of were you pinching yourself simultaneously about both being there at the same time?
Yeah, no, definitely. I arrived on the day of her qualifications, actually. So we were on this bus where from the Beijing airport we catch a bus for like 3 to 4 hours, and then you get to, like, the Olympic Village. And her event was going on, so we were, like, live streaming from the iPad. That was pretty cool. And then when I got there, the day after was, like, a training day, so I hung out with her during the day, and yeah, that was pretty cool. We got all the, the typical Olympic ring photo together and stuff. And then, yeah, being able to go out and watch the finals, I don't know, that was very cool. It was very stressful. It's a lot more stressful watching than actually doing.
And you'd feel particularly stressed out watching your sister, right?
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I was super proud of her. I think she did awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and, I think I actually interviewed her on the day of your event because it got postponed, didn't it? So, yeah, she was quite nervous on the day there. Very excited to watch it. But what do you reckon the coolest story out of Beijing was that you experienced, maybe that you've told people since coming back?
Oh, cool story. I feel like there's not one really cool story. Like, there was just a lot of really cool moments. Like, I guess the highlights are, the Australian house and like just everyone being like just, I don't know, such a community and just such a sense of camaraderie, which is just super cool. But I kind of reckon that was the coolest part of it. Like
just the overall atmosphere.
Yeah, just the overall atmosphere. And like the site was awesome. I can't say there's too many cool stories from that, just like, because like it was training and then the comp, like obviously that's cool in itself, but like.
Yeah. Just, the whole thing's cool in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was, all the volunteers were super excited. They were all dressed like minions at like the the airport and stuff, but
yeah, with the they had the big visors on and everything for COVID, didn't they?
Yeah, like the full hazmat suits and everything. Yeah,
pretty intense.
It's pretty surreal.
Yeah. When you started, when you were 18, started aerial skiing, could you see yourself being at Beijing 5 years later?
No, I didn't.
When did it set in for you that you could qualify for this Winter Olympics?
It probably didn't set in till like the start of 2021.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe end of 2020.
Yeah. And when did you qualify?
Like officially qualified January. Okay. So it was pretty close to us actually leaving.
Well, did you non-officially qualify as well? Or?
Yeah. Well, like it was the points taken over like the past two seasons, and after I got sixth in one of the World Cups in Ruka, and that I think if you get it was either a top six. I think it was top six, so I just got it. Then you automatically get a spot for Australia, but technically that's not your spot. That's just one of it. That's Australia's spot.
Yeah.
So like Laura and Danny had already got a spot, so we had 3 spots.
Yeah.
So technically, one of the other girls could have maybe gotten that spot, but yeah,
they gave it to you.
Yeah,
it's quite good, and now you're here. It's awesome. But before we get to our final little segment bit, we've got a final question that we ask to everyone here on the show. Where do we begin? Gabby, do you have a life philosophy, something like a guiding principle or a quote or anything like that that you help let kind of shape your decisions?
I wouldn't say I have a quote. A guiding philosophy. I wouldn't say I have one philosophy that I kind of follow that guides my decisions, but I don't know. I like to, as I kind of mentioned before, approach things kind of calmly or just, I don't know, and just, as I said also earlier, have fun with it. Like, I don't know, be spontaneous or don't take things too seriously, I guess. Yeah. I'm working on that, but yeah.
That's good. That's good. And we can tell from the outside, you don't take things too seriously. Cool, calm, collected, having fun. It's very good. And you spoke about that in the pocket profile. Before we get to our last segment, we've been going about an hour, so might take a little break, stretch our legs, and for the listeners, we'll play a little snippet of that pocket profile, which you can find on the Patreon page. There's a little link for it in the episode description, so have a listen to that. Meanwhile, we're going to take a little break. Be back in a sec. Like a Greta Thunberg or something like that.
Yeah, well, Greta's pretty awesome. I did see her, actually. I was in Glasgow at the COP, and I went to one of the days. I saw her talk.
Right, so
that was pretty sweet.
Were you at that for a skiing thing, or?
I had a 2-week break between ski camps, so I went to because I have family in Scotland, and it just happened that I was there for literally the 2 weeks that the COP was on. Oh wow! Which was like good, but also everything was shut in Glasgow because of it, so I couldn't really see anything. But I went to one of the days where it was like the youth march, and there was like 10 speakers or so. Talking like from a whole bunch of countries, and then Greta was last. Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's cool. So there we go. That was a little snippet from Gabby's pocket profile that we did just before this. But Gabby, it's Where Do We Begin quiz time. It's our favourite time of every single episode. So I'm gonna hit the music. love that music. It gets you very pumped up, and it's time to get serious, Gabby. I hope you're fired up. I hope you're getting very, very serious. Of course, it's time for the world famous Where Do We Begin quiz. And I've got to say, Lockie's not going to be here for most episodes this season because of his work situation. So we're mixing it up. We've got to adapt to Lockie not being here. Usually Lockie competes against the guest in this quiz, but we are mixing it up. So you're actually the first to do this kind of new alteration of the quiz. So you're going to be first on the leaderboard no matter what after this. We love that. Out of 10 points. So 10 points on offer here. And you're going to end today top of the ladder. It says there in my notes. Almost forgot it. But, of course, that could soon change because every single other guest is going to be fighting tooth and nail to overtake you.
I'm sure they are, yeah.
It's serious stuff, this Where Do We Begin quiz. We might even have a little final series, a little grand final at the end of the year, see how it goes. But you ready to get into these questions?
Yep.
Okay, so in all our quizzes here, we kind of keep it a little bit connected to the guest. It's not what's your results or anything like that, but it's some very, very loose connection to the guest for all our questions. And we've mixed it up for this one. For you, Gabby, all the questions follow a very specific theme. So there are lots of words that rhyme with your surname, Ash. Okay. So every single question in this quiz rhymes with Ash, your surname. So 10 points on offer. And we'll see how we go with all these questions that rhyme with Ash.
I'm a bit nervous.
Yeah. Well, you should be. It's serious stuff. It's more serious than any Olympics, any World Championships, anything like that. Yeah. You want to be getting that top spot by the end of the year. It's, highly sought after. But anyway, we'll get into question 1 and I'll hit the special quiz music. On the 31st of August 1997, Gabby, Princess Diana and 2 of her associates died in a road accident. In which city was the crash?
Oh, I should know this. I feel like my initial thought would be London or someone in America. I'm going to say London.
I'm going to say London. London.
No.
Is incorrect. The answer was Paris. Oh. Princess Diana car crash in Paris.
Okay.
It's not the greatest start.
No.
We'll move on to question 2.
Right.
Only we can get on the board here. Yeah, only up from here. The only way is up. Let's see if we can get on the board with question 2. We'll hit the music again. In 1998, Titanic became the highest grossing film of all time. Which 2 actors playing Rose and Jack shared an on-screen pash in this box office smash? Do you like the way I rhymed that?
Yeah, I did.
Have you seen Titanic?
I have. So Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
Yep. And, I can't forget her name. Oh, I know her name.
I think she was very young when she was in this movie, maybe even a teenager.
Oh. I feel like it's a Kate. It's not Kate Winslet, is it? No. Oh, I suck at quizzes. It's left me. I don't know.
Do you want to have a stab in the dark? Got to be in it to win it.
I don't know why I think it's a Kate. Is it Kate Winslet?
Is that your answer? Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet?
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Okay.
I don't think that's right.
Very early bit of tension in this quiz here, so we'll hit a drum roll. You said Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet shared an on-screen pash in this box office smash. Absolutely correct.
Oh my God.
I was scared there.
Oh.
Nearly backed out.
I was really not backing myself there.
Yeah, you've got to back yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Gabby, let's hope we can learn some lessons from question 2 and move on to question 3.
Yep.
Let's see if you can double your score.
Okay.
Well, I should just ask, do you know who Schapelle Corby is?
Yes.
Gabby? Yep, okay. Famously, she's an Aussie woman who spent 9 years in an Indonesian prison after a conviction for smuggling marijuana into the country in 2005. So the question is, to the nearest kilogram, Gabby, how much hash was in her stash?
Oh, I could tell you where it was, but not how much was.
To the nearest kilogram. 2 kilograms.
Yep.
I've lost my thing here. We'll stop the music. 2 kilograms, you said?
Yep.
It's incorrect. 4.2 kilograms
Oh,
of
wow.
weight
Okay.
in her. Was it in her like bodyboard?
Bodyboard, yeah,
or
or
something?
bodyboard, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah, she says it was just put in there, and
Wow.
yeah, she had no idea what was going on.
4.2.
apparently. 4.2
That's
is
not discreet at all, really.
Yeah, that is a lot of marijuana, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
Move on to question 4. I'll hit the music again. Based on his trademark single colour stage outfits, what was the nickname of legendary country singer Johnny Cash?
I have absolutely no clue. Based off a colour?
Yeah, so he wore one colour on stage. All his outfits were one colour, and it's based off that.
Is it really bad that I have no idea?
Yeah, this is the hardest one in the whole
Okay.
thing, I think.
I'm feeling yellow, so I'm just going to go with something to do with yellow. I'm just going to say yellow.
The yellow fallow or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one. It's,
It's definitely not right, is
yeah.
it? But
It's a bit bananas in pajamas, the yellow fellow, and it's, of course it's incorrect,
Yeah.
unfortunately. It's the man in black.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I should have.
Yeah, you don't.
I thought it was a bit more abstract than that.
Yeah, it's quite simple. And you don't strike me as a huge Johnny Cash fan.
No, I know who it is, but yeah, clearly not.
Country music, not really your thing overall.
It's not my go-to now.
Yeah, have you heard of Ring of Fire, that song?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's his song. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
okay.
famous one. But we'll move on to question 5. This is the second last question, and you're on 1 point out of 4. But let's
All right.
hope you can double that for question 5. Gabby, are you much of an AFL fan?
No.
Not really. Oh, yeah, we covered that before, didn't we? You're not much of an AFL fan, but you might be able to get this. Which 2 AFL teams have jumpers featuring a sash?
Wait, no, it's not Collingwood. Okay.
Do you have a team that you support? Or
I'd say Richmond.
Richmond? Okay.
I'm going to take an absolute stab in the dark. I'm just going to say... Oh, I don't think it's not Richmond either. I'm going to say, like... I'm trying to think of ones now. St Kilda?
Are we going Richmond and St Kilda?
Or maybe St Kilda and... I have no idea. Essendon or something? Yeah, I'm just going to go with that.
Which 2 are you going with?
St Kilda and Essendon.
St Kilda and Essendon. Let's get a bit of a drum roll going here. So you gave us three names there.
Yep.
You said it definitely wasn't Collingwood. You gave us Richmond,
Yep.
St Kilda and Essendon.
Yep.
You went with St Kilda and Essendon. Hit a drum roll. Essendon is correct. But to get the point, you need the other one. The other one is Richmond,
Oh my gosh.
not St Kilda.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, I thought you were on a good right track there when you said Richmond, but then,
No. I
yeah.
don't know why I doubted Richmond.
Yeah, back yourself, Gabby. We talked about that before.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Look, so we're on 1 point out of 5. No, 1 point out of 6 at the moment, I think. Or is it 1 point out of 5? I'm not quite sure. Let me have a look at this. It's 1 point out of, 1 point out of 5.
Okay.
Losing track there. So we've got 5 more points on offer here.
Okay.
And it's all in one question. This question's a who am
wow.
I question. So I'm going to start with a 5-point clue, then a 4-point clue, 3-point clue, all the way leading down to a 1-point clue. You can have one guess at it whenever you want. And of course, all the clues are leading to who I am. And that's the question. So let's hit the music for this final Who Am I question.
Okay.
I was born on the 21st of August 1986 to parents Wellesley and Jennifer, both of whom ran a local grocery store to make their cash.
That's a 5-point question.
Yeah, that's the 5-point clue. We'll probably move on from that. That's very tricky, starting there. Moving on to the 4-point clue. I tested positive for COVID-19 in August 2020, soon after hanging out with sports stars including Raheem Sterling and Chris Gale at my 34th birthday bash.
Is this a footy player or something? Oh, I vaguely remember this in the news.
You'll know this person.
I will.
Yeah. Well, I'd be very, very surprised if you didn't know this person.
Okay. Okay, I think
Move on to the next
3 point.
Okay, that's all right. For 3 points. Trialling a new sport in 2018, I played with Australian soccer club Central Coast Mariners to make a brief but big splash. Should we move on to the 2 point clue?
We shall, yep.
Okay, that's all right. You might be able to get it here. Let's see how we go. I have one of the most famous celebration moves in the world, and for that, some people think me brash. Really having to reach far to get a rhyme with your name for that clue there.
Oh, wow. I feel like I have an idea, but I just can't name the person.
Should I move on to the 1 point clue, or do you want to go for 2 points?
I think we need to go to 1 point.
That's all right. Okay. So if you get this, you finish the quiz on 2 points. If you don't get it, you finish it on 1 point. Let's see how we go. For the 1 point clue, at the 2009 World Athletics Championships, I ran a world record time of 9.58 seconds, quick as a flash in the 100 metre dash.
Is this Usain Bolt? No.
Usain Bolt. I'll do a drum roll. Might be one of the most unnecessary drum rolls I've ever done because, of course, it is Usain Bolt. Well done. Good stuff, Gabby. Yeah, the 100 metre dash really gave it away.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
It's good.
Then putting that together with the signature move, I was like, oh, it's got to be.
Yeah. Do we even know another 100 metre sprinter?
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah. I don't myself. Oh, maybe Rowan Browning?
See, I reckon you threw me off with the soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I second guessed myself there.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was good I didn't choose an AFL player or anything because...
Well, yeah, true, yeah.
Definitely would have thrown you. But, finished that quiz on 2 points, was it? So...
Yeah.
Gabby, I've got to play you some victory music because as of right now, you are top of the Where Do We Begin quiz ladder. Very, very good stuff. Congratulations. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for getting to the top spot?
Oh, just
anyone you'd like to
thank
dedicate?
My family and everyone who's supported me and educated me. Clearly, it's done well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
definitely need to work on my trivia skills, but
yeah. Well, who knows? The other people in the future could get even fewer points than 2.
That is true. At least I got 2 points, better than 0.
2 points.
Look on the bright side, right?
Yeah, look on the bright side. Exactly.
Room for improvement.
Room for improvement. Maybe you can come back later and get 10 points. Let's see how it goes. But just before we go, we're about to go, we give away some Where Do We Begin hats on this show, or we give away a discount code. For the Where Do We Begin corduroy caps. And the discount code, we usually just make it the guest's name. So Gabi Ash, do you reckon that's a good discount code? 20% off?
Great name, yep.
Yeah, so just plug in Gabi Ash to the, you can go to wheredowebegin.com.au to get your hands on some of those caps. Plug in the code Gabi Ash and there you go, 20% off. Absolutely lovely. You've already got a cap of your own. Hope you enjoy that. But
I'm sure I will.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed coming on. Hope you enjoyed the show, guys.
Yeah, no, it's been great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And thanks for listening, guys. It's been good.